15 minutes. And having gone through the 15 minutes of tactical skills, deliberate practice, uh, I discovered, Tom, and this was amazing, it's better to play games. And let me tell you what happened on the last skate. I was going to do evasive tight turns. So, you know what I began with, Tom, is your drill where you skate around on the whistle, you
Yeah.
fake inside, tight turn, and go the other way. So I did it with the kids without a puck, and quite a few of the kids couldn't turn to the outsides. They always turned the same way.
Yeah.
So I'd never experienced that before. So I had to regress it, and I had to get them to, okay, let's play. Uh, we said, made sure they fake, make sure you turn out. We went over and over, and we really sort of wasted our time because 6 of the kids never really could do it. They couldn't turn to their one way, their weak side.
Yeah.
So the next progression, which I had written in, was okay. You pair up. Somebody follow the leader in a figure eight, and not too fast, but faking and going the other way. They could do it. I didn't have to do the deliberate thing, but I would go to paired skating, faking and going the other way. I wouldn't do the laps anymore because everyone could do it. It was amazing. I did it deliberately, teaching the big picture, skating around, doing laps. But I skipped that to second ice time because there's 3 to run. They have 3 groups. And we went right to follow the leader, half speed, game speed, and over speed, the second practice. And they did it with pucks. And yeah, there were some kids that were slow. They all had to look at the puck, but they could all turn both ways. And one of the weakest players was better with a puck leading than following. So I learned that. And then finally, as a next step, we're going to cross ice scrimmage and we're going to have 5 one-on-ones at once. So you dump a puck, 1-on-1 goes, second puck, third puck, fourth puck, fifth puck, 5 one-on-ones at once. And it worked out pretty good. Um, and they were supposed to do the tight turns and evasive skating and that, but they really didn't do that much of it. They skated hard and had a puck and they played the game and they had to shoot on a ready goalie. That's the safety rule of that game is the goalie has to make eye contact with the person with the puck. Everybody else has got to keep the puck and save ice and keep possession, but only shoot when there's eye contact for safety reasons. And if there's a shot and you score, you change, and the coach gets heat dumping puck. And it was what a great activity to go from one thing to the other thing. So I thought that was pretty good. And then the next ice time, just learning from the first time, we'd stop the laps and go the other way. And Kyle Wanvig, we
Well,
changed.
I've got to just catch Jim before he goes to make sure he's going to that practice tonight. So
Okay,
you could keep talking about that right now.
okay. So Kyle Wanvig, he brought up, let's go 4-on-4. He wanted to do 2-on-2s. He wanted more activity. And I said, well, let's just go 4-on-4 first. And then we'll introduce jokers, which is Tom Malloy's thing. And he said, okay. And when they did 4-on-4, I learned, okay, you can't do 5-on-5 with U13. 5-on-5 worked with U11s. We had to do 4-on-4, Tom, where they had more room at U13. And maybe uh, at U15, 3-on-3, 3-3-on-1s is the best way to go in the progression of evasive tight turns, because it is the most lacking skill I've seen at U15 and U13. They don't get their heads up. They don't come out of the turn. They die in the turns. And so that fundamental skill has to be worked on. So I found 4-on-4 worked. And then, Tom, your thing was a miracle. I had 2 jokers, a coach on each dot. They had players inside them, lined up by ability. And they were going 3-on-3 cross ice scrimmage. And all we said, the coaches are jokers. You're going to pass to them. Now, both coaches were jokers. If they got passed to, both of them, it was the same team they were partners with. And wow, Tom, it was miraculous. The coaches handled the puck. They had to wait till they got open. The players, you could see them getting away, finding an open lane. So I said, that's what we're doing. And I didn't introduce the coaches going D to D or passing coach to coach at the top, but that's what I'm going to do tonight. And this next progression, Tom, which is maybe where you start, is you appoint a player as being the joker. Well, I found at U13, having the coach be a joker makes sure that getting open is reinforced and taught. So it worked. Tonight we're going to put players up top, and we might progress to the 3-on-3 scrimmage with the coaches behind the end zone goal, cross ice goal lines. And if you steal a puck, you got to pass it to the coach and break out or regroup.
How many
And
are on the ice?
yes. Well, 3-on-3.
But how many kids are at the practice?
Well, I understand that the numbers are critical, but
No, I'm asking you, how many kids are at the practice? 20, 30?
well, there's 24, and we have
Okay.
4 goalies in one group, 2 in the other. So where we have 4 goalies, we'll use 2 nets, and we'll send them to each end. And we won't be able to do it here because all I want to do, I don't want to do this for the kids. My time is for the coaches so they can do it at practices. And my hope is that when they run the U13 practice, that they will repeat what we did here early to teach that age group, because those are the tactical skills that we're missing. And getting your head up and making time, support, and anticipation and timing, that's, I think, is something that we want to get every team to do at U15 and higher, about keeping track of completed passes like you have. So I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but what do you think?
Well, that's similar to the things I do.
Yeah.
Because it is, as you say, the critical skill. And, I'm still playing hockey, and that's a skill that most people don't have, because getting open when you have it, or, using evasive moves to get free and then move the puck to people.
Yeah.
That's, people, doesn't matter what level you play, is 1-on-5 hockey.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Yeah. Tom, I'm curious, when you did hockey schools, what did you do with kids that were learning to skate? Did you take them or not take them until they could skate?
Well, whoever paid their money could come to the hockey school. Skating is always part of, just like when I run it right now, skating was always part of the hockey school. So
when I ran mine, you had to learn to skate. So we had a learn to skate session for people who couldn't skate properly. They could move on the ice forward and backward, but we had Bob Tuff run 1 hour of power skating to work on their edges, balance, and strength. And if they did that, we would let them into the hockey school. And now across the country, there's learn to skate programs and then learn to play before they play hockey. So the learn to skate might be 4 to 6, and the learn to play might be 6 to 8 years old,
Well,
depending.
a program I did with USO is level 0 is a non-skater.
Yeah,
There's a whole progression of how you get them, and Gaston contributed to that. And they start off just with one ball and move side to side. They pass the ball one hand to the other, not throw it,
yeah,
just to get that sideways motion.
yeah,
And, they're selling the skating machine online all the time.
yeah,
And it's a machine people pay for, and they're starting 45 degrees back, which isn't how you skate.
yeah. Well,
You're
Tom,
developing the wrong
I want to
things. So
clarify your ball. Is it on the ice and they're pushing it with their hand?
no. They got it in their hand and they're just passing it like this as they stride. It's a weight transfer.
Yeah.
So that they know they go side to side.
So they're passing to themselves?
They're just handing the ball from one hand to the other.
Okay.
Then they progress to passing it one hand to the other.
Yeah.
And later on, they progress to bouncing it one hand to the other.
Yeah.
And there's a whole sequence. I could send you some of Gaston. Gaston always does it.
Yeah.
He did it. He did it with a hockey camp.
Yeah.
That
That's not in your book with USO, is it?
Yeah. Gaston did a section there.
Okay.
And it's all a level. So our level 0 is a non-skater. So what they do is they basically do skating exercises and they play games. And every level, like level 0, 1, and 2 is the red book. There's a lot of skating in, the activity cards.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I never really understood it that well. To see how you've started at the very bottom. I did a learn to skate program, and these kids had never had skates on before. They're 4 years old. So the first thing we did in the dressing room was teach them how to fall and get up in the dressing room on a solid surface. And then we had
a good skill too.
Yeah. Well, they're going to fall, so they got to get up, and that's where they have to get the balance leg under their, center of gravity and push themselves up. And we worked on that, walked around with our toes in, our toes out, and bunny hopped in the dryland floor in the dressing room, and we called it pigeon walks and toes out walks, just learning to get the feel when they went on the ice. And after one session like that, they went on the ice, and if some kids had trouble, we took them back off one-on-one with one of the instructors, and they played with them, got them laughing and doing different things to get comfortable standing. Then they got on the ice and tried to get moving, just walking with their toes turned out. That was the very first thing I did, was walk. Now turn your toes out and walk, and the blade bites and you get push. So what did you do? Anything different in terms of getting them moving?
Well, like I just said, plus that warm up that we do all the time, where you're, the inside and outside edges.
Yeah.
So you're starting just pushing out and in, kind of the bubble thing, and one leg at a time.
Yeah.
You know, so the whole deal is to get the weight transfer. So you're falling. When you skate, you're falling. Just like when you're walking, you're falling and catching yourself.
Yeah,
The difference with skating is you're pushing sideways. You're not pushing.
yeah,
It's not for, like I saw a thing with an NHLer with an older guy trying to teach him how to skate, and they're pushing a net, but the guy was pushing back at a 45-degree angle,
yeah,
and that's not how you skate. It appears so because that's what you finish at.
yeah.
You know, so getting that sideways motion is absolutely critical. You know,
Well, Tom, I'm glad we got on this because I didn't realize your 0, level 1, 2 steps, and I'm glad I can promote this now. And when you introduce getting a stick, like my and Al Andrews is the stick length guy and the stick grip guy. He made a point at his hockey schools of selling to the parents proper stick length and proper stick grip. In fact, when Tim Bothwell and I worked with P3 and you worked with P3, we went out and worked with those U6 kids. And we had to teach them proper stick length, but we did it with the parents in Girls Hockey Calgary in the dressing room. We explained the why. Deeper knee bend, proper posture, and it's easier to handle the stick with a short, but they don't know how to hold it. So that's the top hand V buries the knob. And they're anal details, but they're important details.
well, they're really important. And if a kid gets a habit of having his fingers up, it's really hard. I remember Gene Riley came and he was recruiting for Harvard, I think.
Yeah.
He'd come and stay at my house. He was at a lot of different Des Moines schools. And we went to Brooks to watch this kid that was really good. But he had his top hand, instead of thumb facing down, facing up.
Yeah.
So he couldn't get any zip on practices. And you could see him trying to get his hand in the right position.
Yeah.
But he probably played that way his whole life. And he was good, but he didn't get a scholarship. Gene says he can't, you know, with that hand position, he can't make the plays at the really high level. And, you know, I've had kids like that too, and you can't roll your wrists. You know, and plus, I believe early in using the shorter stick until you get better, and then nowadays they're using the longer stick. I mean, kids are using sticks. Like Jimmy uses a stick to his forehead, and he's one of the best stick handlers I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So, you know, but
Well, the stick
at the
length,
very beginning, if your elbow is all back and all that, the puck's going to be going. You know, you won't be able to handle a puck.
yeah. Well, I think the stick length and the stick flex has affected that now. Sticks are lighter,
Oh
but
yeah.
but you still can't handle a puck in small spaces and control it at full speed with changing direction. And
Well, I agree with you, but I'm just saying the trend today
yeah,
is longer sticks. The Russians use longer sticks all the time.
yeah.
Because I couldn't believe how long Makarov stick is, and one of the best stick handlers I've ever seen.
But do you know how long? Who's the Russian with Washington?
Ovechkin.
His sticks, top of the chest bone.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't have to argue with me about that. Well, when I grew up, they said it should be on your chin when you stand on skates. That's what the general view was, you know. And I know Gretzky's, it was at the notch right here, and Gordie Howe was right here too.
Yep, top of the
And
chest.
and the biggest one I've seen is Yager. When he came to play for Calgary, he had a stick up to here.
Yep.
But all the pictures when he was one of the best players in the world, his stick was here.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe how he's bobbling the puck and go over top of the puck because, like you said, the tight spots, the stick was too long.
Yeah.
But I think because he was slower, he was trying to, you know, use a longer stick so he could poke check more or something. But I couldn't believe when I'm watching him. I'm thinking, he's bobbling the puck. I can't believe one of the best players in the world is bobbling the puck on passes. You
Well,
know?
Tom, I've told the story many times. I went to Chicago's camp. My stick was literally to my nose.
Yeah.
First skate, I couldn't handle the puck. I was a drill destroyer. I was going to apologize to Tommy Ivan, say, I'm sorry for wasting your money, but I can't keep up with these guys. I can't handle the puck and pass at the speed they're going.
You're probably too nervous too.
Well, I was nervous. There's no doubt about it. But I went down the stairs in the old stadium and looked in the trainer's room. I saw a saw. I took 4 inches off my stick. I decided I would try a shorter stick. The second skate, I could do the drills. I didn't screw up the drills. I felt good enough to hang in there and not quit. Now, the third skate, I felt really good. Really good. I mean, I could do the drills and time and support. And I said, hey, I deserve to be here. I can keep up with these guys.
Yeah.
The fourth skate, they start scrimmaging. And I had a really good scrimmage. And I could play with players at that level. And I adapted to it. And the scout who invited me came down after the fourth skate and said, what the hell did you do? They were making fun of me yesterday for bringing you. And I said, well, I took 4 inches off my stick.
Yeah.
But that's for the audience out there, the stories you've told about Jagger and my story is, especially when you're young, start with the right length and learn how to hold a stick so you can learn how to skate and handle a puck and
Well, I
get your
think it
puck.
also gets your knees bent. But Gretzky would say when he was struggling,
Yeah.
every once in a while, he wasn't playing so well. He would cut some. He'd make his stick shorter, so he bent his knees more.
Yeah. I
You know,
never heard
so
that. Yeah.
yeah, I heard him saying that, and he cut the stick down a little so to force him to get his knees bent.
Well, something I did with Shannon Miller at University of Minnesota, Duluth, I watched her team practice and their sticks were long. So I told her about stick length and she said, well, it's hard to get them to change their length. They've got a habit of, they're used to that stick. I told her my story going to Chicago's camp. If I wouldn't have done that, I wouldn't have made the national team.
Yeah.
And I said, buy wooden sticks, cut them off the right length for each player, and start your first half of your practice with uh, or the sticks they use, which are too long, and make sure you have overspeed competitive kinds of small area thing in it, and then repeat the similar thing, have them change to the shorter sticks. And of the 20 players, 14 of them stayed with the shorter sticks. And to me, it's the difference between playing at the highest level and not.
Yeah.
And
Well,
over,
it's can you manipulate that stick? Like if you're bobbling the puck and stuff because your stick is too long, but Danny Heatley used a long stick too, and if you can handle a puck and there's no problem and you take passes, then if it's working, don't change it. But if it's not working, try something else.
yeah, no good. Did Danny stay with the long stick?
Yeah, well, stick's right behind me here on the wall. I don't know if you can see it. That's a
I'm
stick
not sure.
behind me.
No,
That's
it's
very
not.
good.
I'm more curious about how long is it? Chin, nose, forehead?
Uh, it was in his face somewhere, I think. He's 6'4", right?
Okay.
Ran into his dad the other day.
And his dad was a shooter.
Well, he could shoot the puck.
But getting back to the stick length here, I've given up on trying to force people. It's let them choose, but know the difference. Just be aware. Like you said, Gretzky, he cut his shorter if he was having trouble.
Yeah.
I think that's
Well, if you're like anything, if it's working, don't change it.
yeah.
But if you've got a stick where most of the kids are up by their eyes,
Yeah.
and you can't take a pass and you're going over the puck all the time, then they should be using a shorter stick. And I really believe probably starting with a shorter stick is better, and then gradually getting a longer stick, because that'll get your knees bent as well. Because you know, it's really pretty critical as far as skating goes.
Well, I want to get back to Alan Andrews here and his hockey school, because on the stick length, that is something they introduced to the parents, and he's written a paper, and when he was educated as a coach, he looked at the biomechanics of learning to skate and handle a puck, and he wrote a 3-page paper explaining the science of stick length and its effect on skating and puck control. Outstanding paper. But every parent, every family gets it. Tim Bothwell took that same article, he put in the pictures and the statistics of all of the Hall of Famers with their stick length picture and their statistics. Yeah. Every one of them was top of the chest bone or Adam's apple or lower. And when I
saw that picture.
Yeah. And when I used to do coaching clinics, I have a picture of 9 Swedish Detroit Red Wings holding their sticks in front of them, laid on the ice. You can see how long it is. And I asked the people, what am I showing you this picture for? Well, it's all Swedish players. No, that's obvious. You know it. And eventually they get to their sticks are the same length and they're short. So if all the Hall of Famers at the time are doing it, please give your kids a chance to be the best they can be. And Tim put all the pictures in, and I'm sure you've received a copy of that as part of the cell. Now, Tom, over the years, there was one player that intrigued me, Marty St. Louis. And I always said, nobody with a long stick's ever going to make the men's Olympic team. And it was true until the year that Marty made it. Because he is one of the best long stick players I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But he did eventually make it. I'm just trying to convince people to get a good start, and if they want to go longer after, go longer, whatever you're comfortable with. But most coaches say, hey, defense, use a long stick, forwards, use a shorter stick. No, you got to put your body where it should be, when it should be. You still got to control the puck, manage the puck, and move it.
Whatever works. Phil Housley used that really, really short stick.
Yeah, he was a pretty good.
I know when he played for Calgary, Rico was coaching the power play. He just asked Housley what they should do.
Yeah,
because he was so clever.
Well, Tom, I'm going to just close off on this topic here, and the word right start we've used. When people say the word skill, they think of skating, forward stride, backward stride, crossovers, transition forward to backward, backward to forward, with and without a puck. Those are fundamental skills. Nothing to do with game application in them. But tactical skills are with a puck, under pressure, you have to be able to think of how to skate and what kind of change of direction to take controlling a puck. And that's why at U13, I'm so glad I got a chance to work on it. And the lesson I learned was deliberate practice doesn't work as good as playing a game. One-on-one, following the leader.
Deliberate practice is important to get the right technique and to warm up, but they should be doing things under pressure. I'll tell you, Wally, I posted I'm going through this stuff, and a Swedish drill doing, when they face each other in the neutral zone. But the thing that the Swedes do better than anybody, they're doing a shooting one. And I just posted yesterday. They finish the play. So if there's a rebound, the player goes and gets the puck. They don't just whistle to run the drill,
Yeah.
They finish the play. They get a rebound, and after you shoot, you circle with the next player, and they score first, and then they go.
Yeah.
And that's a real step up from, because everybody uses the same drill.
Yeah.
But and then the other step up from it, and I saw the Flames do this about 3-4 years ago. One group is the players watch. So the players watch when it's over, and they start without a whistle. So at each end, there's different length, especially if they get a couple of shots, it's going to take longer than the other end.
Yeah.
And they start the drill on their own, and they do, of course, whoever's facing the end that they're going to go to, do that. So if you put those two things together, that you actually finish, because that's a problem with drills, is they take a shot. Some kids are shooting they're kind of stepping towards the lineup as they shoot. They're not following the puck. There's nothing.
Yeah.
And shoot, follow your shot, get the rebound, and then you're actually working on a hockey skill, the whole skill, not just the And I posted yesterday, and you could see it. It's pass and shoot options, Sweden.
Well, Barry Midori with Hockey Alberta years ago introduced the idea of follow your shot, stop in front of the net, and play a second puck. That became, you have to finish the drill with a low zone offense option. And it's the same idea of sustaining pressure.
Well, if the puck is in play inside the dot, you get it instead of a new puck.
Yeah.
Because that's realistic in a game. You do follow the actual shot.
And that's a habit, eh, Tom?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But if you watch the Swedes, it's incredible how they face the puck. Like their fundamentals are so solid. The guys are making the pass, and the guys are doing stuff, and they're facing the puck with their stick on the ice the entire time.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're so good. They're very meticulous in following him, having good habits.
Well, Tom, I want to take advantage of what you just said. Keeping your stick on the ice and always facing the puck. I mean, that's fundamental. You're ready to pass, to receive the puck, to play the game. And a lot of kids have their stick up in the air, of course. And I don't know how many times I watched players turn their back on the puck last year, but it's a bad habit. So how do you
You're detached from the play.
Yep.
The puck changes hands on the average 6 times a minute.
Yeah.
One team and the other.
Yeah.
So if you got your back to the play, the other team may have the puck now, or your team may have just regained the puck. You're not part of the play.
Yeah. Well, here's the drill to teach habits. It's the same drill. And I did it with the U15 team last year. And I'm not sure the coaches appreciated how important it was, but I know how important it was. It was a cross-ice scrimmage. And if you turned your back on the puck, the coach had to blow the whistle. Everybody did 1 push-up, and the offender did 3. So the coach has to teach. It's just like the coach being the joker. teaching getting open. And that's the first phase for facing the puck. At an early age, keeping the stick on the ice, it's the same rule. There's 6 players 3-on-3. They'll all have, except the puck carrier will have a stick on the ice. The receivers has got his in the air. You blow the whistle when the stick's not on the ice with anybody. So they are deliberately conscious of it. 1 push-up, everybody watching and skating, and 3 for the person that offended, and wait till the person that offended did it. Because if they wait for you, if you tell them, they don't know. They've got to make that connection that, hey, that's my habit, I got to break. And I found those 2 things after it for the rest of the 3-on-3, those habits, they didn't want to do push-ups. It worked.
Yeah, I remember you doing that with one of my teams.